Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah asta'inu wa astaghfiruh wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'd, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatin mubarakah. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من قال لا إله إلا الله مخلصا دخل الجنة أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. Alhamdulillah, respected elders, ulama, friends, youth, all praise is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with Deenul Islam and our choices, salutations upon our Master Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam has a very beautiful masnoon dua, and it is something that we should try and learn and make it a reality in our life also, of learning how to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the dua is, Ya Rabbi lakal hamd kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhik Wadimi Sultanik. Such a beautiful dua, friends and elders. And it encompasses in truly the great praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because in reality we cannot praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as Allah ta'ala ought to be praised. And the first, as the Nabi of Allah ta'ala makes mention, O my sustainer, for thee is praise, like how magnificent thy countenance is. And for thee is praise, like how great your sovereignty is, friends and elders. The reality is Allah Ta'ala controls everything. Whatever good has come upon us, whatever benefit we have received in this world, whatever honor, dignity, fame we have received in this world, in reality these have come direct from the treasures of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And in reality we are incapable, friends and elders. We are completely dependent on Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And the more we're going to glorify and praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, friends and elders, the more we're going to remove the ego from within ourselves, the more we are going to subdue that nafs, friends and elders. And nafs is such a thing that if we do not subdue it, friends and elders, it will overpower us. And eventually we will become disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we will follow our own desires, whims and fancies. Alhamdulillah, we find ourselves in a very Mubarak month, and it is the month of Shaban. And we make mention of a narration that Hazrat Usama ibn Zayd radiallahu ta'ala makes mention that he told the Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that, O Rasul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I have seen you fasting so frequently in this month, like I never ever seen you fasting in any other months before. So the Rasul of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam replied that Shaban is a month between Rajab and Ramadan which people are neglectful of. It is a month where the actions of humanity will be presented in front of the Lord of the universe. And I desire that my actions be presented to my Lord, that whilst I'm in a condition of fasting. And another narration, Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, Ummul Mu'mineen radiallahu ta'ala makes mention that she's seen the Nabi of Allah ta'ala continuously fasting in the month of Shaban. So she asked the Nabi of Allah ta'ala that, O Nabi of Allah ta'ala, is this the most beloved month for you for fasting, this month of Shaban? So the Nabi of Allah ta'ala replied to the effect that this is the month where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed the death of many of his creation. In other words, for the year, that in the books, in the prescribed book, friends and elders, many a person will be leaving this world. And we don't know whose name will be written, friends and elders, for that year, that it's time for a person to leave this world, friends and elders. And the Nabi of Allah Ta'ala further made mention that if it is my time to leave this world, that I leave this world in a condition of fasting. I leave this world in a condition of fasting. So friends and elders, we all know we are heading towards the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is coming up. But the thing is that how do we find Ramadan? In what condition do we accept this Mubarak month of Ramadan? Are we prepared for Ramadan? And what effort are we making to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You see, we have to look in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, even in our basic du'as. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahda la sharika la wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Friends and elders, Allah Ta'ala forgive us today. Today our aspirations and our desires is that people recognize us. That people recognize us. And this is in reality, if we look around, this is what humanity is. If a person is in business, he wants to be recognized as the most successful businessman. If a person is in the circular field and is trying to acquire such education, he wants to be recognized as the best in his field, or a technician, or whatever it be. People want to be recognized, friends and elders. But in the reality, we have to recognize who Allah Ta'ala is. We have to recognize who Allah Ta'ala is so Allah can give us recognition. And what is the ultimate recognition? Where Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, imagine Allah Ta'ala is referring to His Nabi as Abd. Abd, can you imagine? Imagine someone comes to us and they call you, hey boy, come here. Does it affect your ego? Some ordinary person from the street, you're a person that's well known in society and he calls you and he treats you as a servant. Does it affect your ego? Friends and others, if it has affect your ego, then in reality we haven't made proper ta'alluq with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the sense, once a sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Salman radiallahu ta'ala, a very great sahabi, and we have to understand the status of these people. Allah Ta'ala was pleased with them and they were pleased with Allah Ta'ala, and Allah Ta'ala had given them glad tidings in Jannah. Friends and others, whilst they were alive in this world, they were the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was said he was the governor of Medina Munawwara. And as Salman radiallahu anhu was of such a character, was of a simple-natured person, friends and others, in dress, in every aspect of his life, but with deep knowledge and great love and fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as he was walking in the streets of Medina Munawwara, a person called him and he said, like, today we find, hey boy, come here. Just come help me load this luggage that I have. And he called him in a very a harsh way, like a tone, like I'm someone, you come here, you load it. Look at the simplicity, look at the iman of these great people. He was the governor of Medina Munawwara. The person didn't even realize that Hazrat Salman radiallahu anhu was the governor of Medina Munawwara. Hazrat Salman didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. He loaded those goods for that person. And he took the goods to where the person wanted. Later the person realized that something is wrong here because everyone in Medina is now staring at me as I'm walking with this person. Have I done something wrong? Then he realized, and he came to the understanding that this is Salman radiallahu anhu, a great sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, friends and elders. Look at their simplicity, look at their humility, friends and elders. They understood that achievement is for Allah to recognize you. Achievement is for Allah to recognize you. Friends and elders, this life that Allah Ta'ala has given us is a short life, it is a temporary life. Ask a person that's beard is white today, he will tell you, I was also a young man. I was also busy in this world, friends and others, but how fast has life passed me? How fast has life passed me? And a person will wish that I could go back and rectify the wrongs that I've done, friends and elders. But in reality, Allah has only given us one life. That second that has passed, will never ever return to us, friends and elders. Will never ever return to us. But whatever is ahead of us, friends and elders, while we are hale, while we are healthy, friends and elders, we have to grab onto those opportunities, friends and elders. A time is going to come where we are going to be presented in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today everything is about presentation. A person goes to a family gathering, he makes sure his car is washed nice, he takes his best vehicle. Person goes for a meeting, he ensures that he's dressed in the best clothes, best way. Friends and elders, those are only things of this world. We are going to stand in front of the master of the universe, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the tongue, today we seem to be able to use it very well, but for our own benefit. So sometimes a person has a very eloquent tongue in this world, friends and elders, or they say he's got the gift of the gab. He can get away from many situations. But that great day is coming, friends and elders, where your tongue will not be able to speak. Your tongue will not be able to speak. And your heart is going to speak, friends and elders. And exactly like how you enacted in this world, that is exactly what your heart is going to present in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So friends and elders, imagine if we didn't rectify ourselves before meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now imagine the Nabi of Allah in the month of Shaban is giving us nasiyah that if my Allah ta'ala is to take my life must be taken away in a condition that I'm the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I was fasting. So what is fasting? Fasting is to subdue those nafs. It is to bring the awareness of Allah ta'ala in front of us. It is to submit in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I am completely meek, I am weak. Oh my master, I am completely dependent on you. And then also the Nabi of Allah was worried in this month of Shaban also of his presentation of his deeds. Imagine this was the Nabi of Allah ta'ala. But he was teaching the Ummah, friends and elders. He was teaching the Ummah. The Nabi of Allah was sinless, friends and elders. But teaching this Ummah that you have to have the best of actions to present in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So alhamdulillah, we in this Mubarak month of Ramadan, month of Shaban, my brothers. Ramadan is coming in front of us. We have to slowly now change our routine. This is very, very important, friends and elders. We have to take out time and set a fixed routine. So when the month of Ramadan comes, we are prepared for it, friends and elders. And the month of Ramadan is such a time where we have to dedicate ourselves completely to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dedicate ourselves completely to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ulama explain that if a man can perfect his actions in Ramadan, then the remaining 11 months will become very easy. And those difficulties that he had, he couldn't shrug off. He had weaknesses, friends and elders. Those sins that he couldn't knock off, friends and elders. If he will spend the month of Ramadan the way the ulama explaining to us, friends and elders, it will become very easy for a man to bring change into his life. So the ulama give us example. There's few nasiyat that the ulama give us. So in this month of Shaban, one thing, friends and elders, we have to come on to amal. So now we have to slowly start guarding our salah. In this month of Shaban, let's start guarding our salah. Make niyat, inshallah, that when the adhan goes, whatever I am doing, Allahu Akbar, we are saying Allahu Akbar, but as the reality penetrated our hearts, that Allah is the greatest. Whatever I am doing is not important now. The time is to go to Allah Ta'ala. I'm in the business, Allahu Akbar. Close it, put it down, put everything down, friends and elders. Tell the person, will you wait for me? I'm going now in front of my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is Iman, friends and elders. This was Sahaba, friends and elders. They understood the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever we are doing at that given time is not important now. The important thing is now I got to go to my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Take out time, friends and elders, daily to make the tilawat of Quran. Quran is a nur, it is the guidance for the whole of mankind, friends and elders. If we haven't opened up that kalam of Allah ta'ala for the many months that have passed, now is the time, friends and elders. Open up the kalam of Allah ta'ala and daily read some portions. So when Ramadan comes, there's some desire in us to read the kalam of Allah ta'ala. Otherwise, if we don't make that effort, we will find Ramadan, but our life will be carrying on the same like how we were outside of Ramadan, because there was no proper preparation for the month of Ramadan, friends and elders. This is so important. The next important aspect, friends and elders, is that ensure that we are eating halal food, friends and elders. Halal food is not only about the zabah, where a person will say Bismillah, friends and elders. Halal food is very important to understand that we earned our money in the correct way. We did not cheat any person. We did not deceive any person. We did not acquire our income with interest. Because all these things, friends and elders, bring the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So imagine a person found the Mubarak month of Ramadan, but he's feeding his family with haram sources and means. How is that person going to become accepted in that month, friends and elders? You see, for tawbah to become accepted, a person must recognize the sin. A person has to recognize the sin. Then there must be nadamat in his heart. There must be sadness in his heart. That, Allah, I've done this action and I'm sorry. And the next is that we make that niyyah, that I will never do that action again. But if a person doesn't realize he's committing a sin, when is he going to make tawbah, friends and elders? When is he going to make tawbah? So this is very important also, friends and elders, that ensure that our sustenance, how we are earning, we can rather earn a little, friends and elders, but if it is pure, Allah Ta'ala will give barakah in it. Allah Ta'ala will give us a beautiful life, friends and elders. But if we can have all the things of this world, all the comforts of this world, friends and elders, but if we earn it in the wrong way, there will be no barakah, friends and elders. We will have a destroyed life, and we will meet Allah Ta'ala in a condition that Allah is displeased with us. And that is what we must be aware of. And the next point, the recognition of Allah Ta'ala. In everything we do, see it, find it, you will see that behind it is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Behind it is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Today, alhamdulillah, I had a good deal in my business. But who helped me? Who assisted me? Praise Allah. Show that gratitude towards Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Oh Allah, you did it for me, Ya Allah. Without you, I could have never done it, friends and elders. Let that tongue make the praise of Allah Ta'ala. Show gratitude towards Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in every aspect of your life. Friends and elders, we're going to end it here. And it's very important. As one alim said, today mankind has thought that he is advanced. Today everything is touchtronic, tiptronic, whatever you want to call it, friends and elders. And we think that is advancement. But in reality, the alim said it so beautifully that is not in advancement. Today mankind is competing that who runs the fastest, who can drive the fastest, friends and elders, who can go to the highest of heights. He has even gone to that he has claimed he has gone to the moon, and that is advancement. But in reality, that is no advancement at all. Why? Because creation has met creation. Creation has met creation. The moon is the creation of Allah Ta'ala. The human being is the creation of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That is no achievement at all in this world. Achievement is when the created will meet the creator in a condition that the creator is pleased with the created. That is achievement, friends and elders. Then a person has truly achieved. My Allah Ta'ala is pleased with me. My Allah Ta'ala is happy with me. That is the ultimate achievement, and that is what should be in our hearts of every person, that Allah Ta'ala grants us a husnul khatimah, that when we leave this world, our end is in the most beautiful way, that Allah is willing to meet us, and we are willing to meet Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. But for that to be achieved, friends and elders, it will take effort, it will take sacrifice, but understand this world is very short, it is very temporary. So that little effort and that little sacrifice we make, friends and elders, will bring us eternal success, dunya, qabr and akhirah. Allah Ta'ala give us all to